I hate to complain, but college life ain't easy. This is my junior year in college, and after getting kicked out of my parents' house after high school, I was pretty much on my own. All I had to fund my expenses were the savings that I'd been luckily building up since middle school. Even that wasn't enough because I was going through it pretty fast. I needed a part-time job that would fit my school schedule and eventually ended up choosing to become an Uber driver. It seemed like the pay would be enough to cover my college and other expenses. I've only been doing this for a week now, so I'm still trying to learn all the ropes. It's actually a pretty easy job. I would just drive people wherever they need to go and get paid. Most of the time, I would just greet the passengers and never say a word until they leave. That was apparently what they wanted because I wouldn't bother them and they wouldn't bother me. Easy peasy. All the transactions were handled through the app. No cash, which was perfect for my safety. Also, if I was lucky enough, some passengers would tip me, so I try my best to be as nice as possible. It can get slow sometimes, so I get excited whenever a new fare pops up. This one particular night, however, changed my perspective of the job. It was getting late and the clock almost struck midnight. I was about to close the app and just call it a night until I got a notification that a new passenger was requesting a ride. Usually, I try not to drive this late, but it was a slow day and I couldn't pass the opportunity to lose some easy money. The passenger was apparently a girl named Maria, which was odd because girls don't usually hang out around this late at night. I honestly thought it was just a drunk college girl and her friends who just got wasted. I was a little reluctant because I hate dealing with drunks in my car. I heard stories about drunk passengers who can get pretty aggressive and even throw up in your car. I took my chance and accepted it. It was not too far of a drive to pick her up, and it seemed as if she went to the same college campus as me. I pulled up outside a bar downtown and notified the app I was here. Not a minute later, I heard a loud thud on my car window. I almost had a heart attack until I saw a blonde girl and her brunette friend looking through my window and smiling. I smiled back awkwardly as they helped themselves into the back seat. Surprisingly, they didn't seem drunk. Their stench, however, reeked like cigarettes. I'm assuming it was from being inside the bar. I noticed the destination was going away from campus, which was strange because I thought they were headed back to their dorm or something. The blonde girl, which I assumed was Maria, and her brunette friend were talking to me non-stop. I tried to make conversation in hopes of getting a good tip and rating. To be honest, it seemed like they were flirting with me. They got real touchy in the whole ride and talked to me in a really seductive way. This didn't make any sense because I know for a fact I was nowhere near good looking at all, and besides, these two girls were way out of my league. I've never had a girl hit up on me up until this point. I should have known this wasn't adding up because they asked me if I wanted to hang out and have some fun with them for the night. I was definitely a fool that night because I took their offer in a heartbeat, not even thinking about my safety whatsoever. We finally arrived at a house with no street lights or anything lighting up the road. The only lighting was coming from the full moon in the sky. Things were looking kind of sketchy, but the girls on the other hand were being really persuasive and told me to come out of my car and follow them. I asked them, "What did you ladies want to do tonight?" They said, "We should all have some fun." I couldn't believe I was about to get drunk and party with some really hot girls. This was a dream coming true for me since my entire college life up to this point was super boring and stale. As we all got out, I locked my car and followed the ladies inside. The ambience inside the house was not what I expected. It was dimly lit, no party tables or anyone else there. Just a dead, empty house, as if someone just died in here. They pulled my arm, leading me to what looks like a basement door. I couldn't see anything but complete darkness down there. I stopped and told them no. I better get going. It's getting late and I have a big test tomorrow. Trying my best to make up a really bad excuse. They kept pressuring me and grabbing my arm in a playful way until I heard footsteps coming from downstairs. My survival instincts told me to push both of the girls off. They went tumbling down the stairs and apparently fell on top of whoever was coming up. I took this chance to run as fast as I could out the house and into my car. I sped out the driveway faster than I ever drove my Prius. I drove back straight to my dorm and never looked back. I don't know what they were planning to do to me down there, but I definitely didn't want to find out. I reported the incident to Uber and let them deal with it. After that, I quit driving for Uber and just decided to do some other ride-sharing app like DoorDash. I was making the same amount of money, if not more. The best part of all, it didn't involve strangers getting into my car, and that's how I liked it. Friday nights are the best time to just go out and do bad stuff with your friends. This is one of those nights where I make good or bad memories. This one night, however, turned out to be rather disturbing and was a fight between life or death. It's about 2 a.m. in the morning and we just left the bar because they were closing. I was with all my best friends. It was girls' night out and we were completely drunk from taking shots after shots all night and daring each other on who can drink the most. I was with my best friend Vanessa and Justice. We originally took an Uber here and now it was time to catch another one back home. This scenario felt a little different. It's now dark and scary outside. It took only 2 minutes after I booked the Uber until it arrived, which was strangely fast. An old black Nissan Altima pulled up next to us on the sidewalk. The strange thing was, the app said he was going to be in a Toyota Camry. At this point, I was too drunk to realize the difference and just thought it was an error or something. There was 2 guys that were in the Nissan Altima. It had super tinted windows until eventually one of them rolled them down. The driver said, "You ladies need an Uber?" I told him, "Yes, we did." I got in and we all sat in the back. I was the sandwich in the middle. I didn't know why there was a second guy in the passenger seat. I don't recall ordering an Uber pool. It was just supposed to be us 3. Again, being too out of my head to realize this situation was the beginning of the end. The driver drove off and asked us, "Where are we headed?" I mentioned my apartment complex because that's where we were all going to be crashing for the night. I don't know why he asked, because he should already have the address on the app. Also, I noticed he was taking a route that was not really familiar with me. None of my friends realized this because they were literally passed out next to me. I woke them both up and then started texting them about the situation on the phone. We have our own personal group chat and Justice asked me, "Why are you texting us on here? You're literally next to us." I told her about the unusual situation going on and asked if they noticed the same thing. After explaining myself, they both agreed and thought it was odd as well. The 2 men in the front remained silent and never said a word after asking us where we were going. This whole situation was starting to creep me out. What happened next woke me up from my drunk self and back into reality. I got a notification from my phone saying my Uber just arrived and is waiting for me. My heart sank to the bottom of the ocean. I was no longer drunk and realized the severity of the situation. I texted the girls and they were both scared to death. They wanted to get out of the car and go home. I told them we have to do something fast because I don't know what these people are going to do with us. We were just 3 college girls and I know for a fact we couldn't take on these 2 guys in front of us. They looked big and stocky and would easily overwhelm us. We have no weapons or anything. Or, that's what I thought until I realized I always carry a bottle of pepper spray in my purse. It's actually mace and the label says it can take out grown men and make them cry. I told them the plan that I'll spray them both when we reach a red light and while they're hurt, we will open the car door and make a run for it. I counted down on the group chat. 1, 2, 3, go! I unlocked the mace and gave both of them a nice spray on the side of their faces. They shouted and yelled in pain, both of them cursing like there was no tomorrow. Everything was happening so fast that my friends were already out of the car and running towards another car that was nearby. The men, still inside the black Nissan Altima, drove off and I could hear their tires screeching in the pavement as they illegally ran the red light and disappeared into the distance. The person in the car was nice enough to pull up to the curb and offer us a ride home and even call the police. We thankfully declined him since we were already scared from taking rides from strangers. I called my dad about the whole situation and he came to pick us all up. Luckily, we weren't too far off my apartment. He took Vanessa and Justice home and had a long lecture for our ride home. I was annoyed but couldn't thank him more than enough for being there for me even when he had to work in a few hours. I was too drunk and stupid to realize all the simple things that weren't adding up leading up to this situation. Thankfully, it eventually hit me in the head at the right time, or else me and my girlfriends could have ended up buried in a ditch that night.